Dr. Chabot, thanks for sitting with me.
Sure.
We just got done with court, and we're on our second take of this because I'm a noob here and I didn't hit the record
That's
button.
okay.
So we had such a good conversation, but we just left the court. Let's kind of wrap up a little bit of what we talked about and get back to where we were at before I realized I wasn't recording.
Sure.
So we left the courthouse. We didn't see Frazier leave. Right. He pled no contest. Yeah. This has been going on since 2021. We're at the end of 2023, moving into 2024.
Right.
Why is this taking so long?
Yeah, there's a saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I've been a victim of Frazier and his political action committees and his consultant now for going on probably 3 years.
Yeah.
Where they ran a dishonest campaign and they knew it. They lied to the media. They actually told the media that I was lying, and then they send out tens of thousands of mailers to voters, telling people that Frazier walks on water and don't believe Paul. Frazier, as you may recall, took 2 plea deals today, which were 2 felonies for impersonating a public official. He went to 2 locations that we know of. There's probably more, right? The first time you catch a crook, not the first time they broke in a car, it's the first time they got caught. Well, he got caught at 2 locations pretending to be an apparent code compliance officer, telling the businesses, go take down Chabot signs, they're in violation. But he also got caught on video at 4 o'clock in the morning at a 7-Eleven cutting down one of my signs in his silver F-150. And so, here we are 2 years later. These are slam dunk cases. This is on video. The Texas Rangers got involved. The county DA should have handled this day one. They shouldn't have handed it off. The voters should have known about this early on.
You said the county DA also endorsed him, right?
He did. He endorsed him,
so
and
the
he still
county
endorsed
DA
him.
who was responsible for kind of pushing this and getting it wrapped up is also the same person who endorsed him in his race.
Well, he did endorse him, but then they handed this off to a special prosecutor.
Okay.
Right? And a special prosecutor, I think, did the best job he could, but the problem is Frazier was able to string this thing out. He used the legislative delay tactic in Austin that if you're in session, you can't go to court, right? With Dallas PD. Dallas PD actually sustained all the allegations on Frazier to discipline him a year ago, where in their report that I have, it's public record, it says, he did this, he committed this crime. They saw the videos. I can't see it yet, I will after today, right? But I know what they wrote.
So you haven't seen the videos, you haven't actually seen any of the evidence.
Right.
But they have video, they have witnesses.
That's right.
And all over signs.
Yeah.
The most petty thing in the world.
That's right.
At the end of the day, signs don't equate votes. Who had a lot of signs was Hillary Clinton, and Beto O'Rourke had a ton of signs. I remember when he ran against Cruz, he couldn't drive without seeing a Beto sticker on a car, right?
Yeah.
And he lost. It's the stupidest thing to get in trouble over. So, we were talking about this earlier. He gave quotes to DMN and some others stating that he couldn't wait to get into court and prove his innocence and all that. You had a lot of groups and people saying that you were lying or you were making stuff up and even slandering you, saying you were serving the military. Right?
It was worse than that, because there were some precinct chairs here in Collin County that already knew of Frazier's prior bad record on city council, that they would repeat his lies, and they would email all the precinct chairs. And we got some really good ones, and we got some horrible ones here. We got a clean house. Collin County's a mess right now.
Yeah.
And so for everybody that supported him and carried his lies has a responsibility for him being elected today. But at the same time, a lot of people were fooled, and I understand that. I might have been fooled if I was an ordinary voter reading mail that comes in going, man, Paul didn't serve in the military, he didn't do this, didn't do that. And they're not seeing anything from me being able to fight that, because I don't have the same money that he has.
If you're a citizen, it's kind of weird to be like, you're telling me that this cop, this police officer, who's got a decent record, decent looking guy, has a great looking family, he's got endorsements from Abbott and all these great people, you're telling me he stole a sign?
Yeah.
And you want me to believe that? Yeah. And people don't realize it's actually a crime.
Yeah.
It's not just something that's it's not like you're TPing a house or something silly.
Right.
You're stealing somebody's property.
Right.
And going further, he's a police officer impersonating a public official.
Yeah.
Just insanely embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but also shows the depravity in the mind of an active police officer. And so my concern is, I'm retired law enforcement as well, is what has he done on duty in criminal cases that are now jeopardized because he has a record? He's on what's called the Brady Cop list.
Okay. What's that?
Brady means, if you Google Frazier and Brady Cop, Brady means that he really can't testify in court without it being acknowledged that he's a dishonest person.
So hypothetically, if he pulls somebody over and they have to testify on something, he's not a good witness?
No, he's horrible.
Do you know why?
because the DA has put him on this list. The Dallas County DA put him on a list saying we see evidence that he cannot be trusted. So he's listed in a national database now.
So this guy who's on this list is not a trustworthy person to take testimony from.
Yeah.
Is also an elected official.
Isn't that crazy?
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So you've got all these things going on here with Frazier, where the first thing that came out should have been the big red flag for everybody that's endorsed him or supported him.
Yeah.
But it's not like that here in Texas. You've got a small niche in Austin. You've got the Murphy-Nassauga firm, which is very dishonest. You've got Associated Republicans at Texas PAC, very dishonest, that came in hard and heavy for Frazier knowing it. Here's the crazy thing. I'm also a licensed real estate agent, but the Realtor Association endorsed Frazier, a non-agent, and they knew he was under indictment.
Let's talk about that. What do you think caused all of these groups to endorse him over you?
They're afraid of him. Yeah, they're afraid of him.
What do you mean by that?
So he's in law enforcement. They're afraid of his background, but he also runs one of the largest police unions in the country. And if you follow his history, he takes his union and endorses people all around the state. And it's like horse trading. Hey, you endorse me, I'll endorse you. He builds this, and people are afraid of that. They don't want to, run angst against the Dallas Police Officer Association, where he was the vice president, and he led their political action committee, which means he's always been in the swamp. Yeah. He's been down in Austin. He's been a part of this problem. And quite honestly, most people who run unions are not conservatives.
Let's talk about the endorsements. So we were talking a little earlier, he's still got the Abbott endorsement.
Yeah.
Even now.
That's crazy, yeah.
Even with this going on. And he's still running for office.
Yeah.
He resigned as a police officer, correct?
Right. Well, we either going to resign or retire.
Okay.
And it's going to be a dishonorable according to how the policy has to play out here in Texas.
So that's happening. He's running for re-election. He's got the Abbott endorsement.
Right.
Last time he ran, he had the Trump endorsement.
And Abbott and Dan Patrick and AR and everybody.
Has Patrick endorsed in this round?
I don't know, but he's still on his website.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. We were talking about this earlier too. Endorsements. It seems to be nowadays endorsements mean less about policy and principles and more about, do I know you? Are you a friend? Right. Have we had business relationships before?
Yeah.
We see great attorney generals endorsing people who supported vaccines and masking. You see endorsements that are kind of out of nowhere, and a lot of it seems either be money related or relationship related. Do you think that's kind of the case here with Abbott and him and some others?
It is. Look, and that's why I'm launching a political action committee called the Texas Integrity PAC.
Okay.
And our whole purpose is to support and endorse candidates that have integrity, because that's what the public demands. Right now, politicians on public trust at the toilet level. Nobody trusts politicians. And that's a shame. America, Texas, greatest state, greatest country, we have this huge problem with honesty and integrity. So 21 years U.S. Navy, we judge people on character to join. We need to do the same when we vet candidates for endorsements and to get them into office. And that's what our PAC's going to do. The problem here is that it's all about the money and the relationships within a small niche. And they will do whatever they can to win. They slandered my name. They told people I didn't serve in the military, that I wasn't a disabled veteran. I mean, they went on and on and on. And there was no shame, no accountability for this.
You mentioned some precinct chairs, and you don't have to name them, but have they apologized?
No, not at all.
They're still precinct chairs?
Yes.
Has anybody apologized that accused you of lying?
No.
And you haven't heard from Frazier or any other elected officials saying, hey, we were wrong?
No. Zero. Yeah. So, and also, you didn't hear, I'm sorry, you also didn't hear that from Frazier today in court. I mean, you would think that after everything, he would at least say, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Collin County. I'm sorry, voters. I'm sorry to my family. I'm sorry to Paul and his family. I'm sorry for lying. Sorry for embarrassing the profession.
Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing as a constituent, especially if I had, I'm not in the district, but if I voted for the guy and he represents me down in Austin and he's out stealing signs, it's just goofy. It's just a goofy thing. I mean, if you're going to commit crime, at least do something cool. A sign is just goofy.
Well, the thing is, he may have done a lot more, right? He just didn't get away with it. What cop in their right mind goes to a 7-Eleven where there's cameras and cut down a sign? Look, when you look at serial killers and you follow serial killers,
you know that. That's the first thing you think is like, am I going to be end up
Criminals start off small. When they get away with it, they get more brazen. They do it more. And
you think he got sloppy?
He got sloppy.
You think he's just too confident?
He too cocky.
Because even me, if I was going to do something like that, the first thing I think is like, who's going to record this? Am I going to be on camera?
Yeah.
You just waltzed in, just they're not going to do anything.
Yeah. And so if you heard the judge today, he's got to pay me for that sign. It's like $78 for that, the damage, the T-post, everything. But you multiply that by maybe 100.
Yeah.
I mean, we put up thousands of yard signs.
think there were more?
Tons more, absolutely. Same MO everywhere. And here's the thing, and I don't know if you might want to show this, but he would take our flags and throw them in the trash can.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
So, to
Did
me...
your flags have branding or anything on it?
No.
So just normal, generic
Two American flags.
And he would toss them?
Zip tied to our signs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So more of just like he's in a hurry, maybe just toss them
Yeah,
along with it.
yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, no respect for the flag, no respect for honesty, no respect for the badge, and this is who's representing us in Collin County.
And may continue depending on this next race. So there's 2 people running against him, right? Remind me who those are.
Yep. So
Branch
there's Chuck Branch and there's Carissa Richardson.
Gotcha.
They're both from McKinney. I've told folks I am supporting both of them to work together to defeat Frazier.
Gotcha.
And we got to stay on target. If we want to make an example here in Texas, let's do it here, right? Let's fight a good campaign and take out the dirty cop.
It's pretty hard to remove an incumbent.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard. I don't know what the win ratio is. I think it's in the 90
Yeah.
percentile as far as like getting an incumbent removed. Do you think that they have a good chance of getting him out?
I think this is probably the most important target for integrity to take out in Texas. Because the flip side of this is, what if he doesn't? What if he stays in? First off, if he has any moral character, he would resign. How does he hold his head up high in Austin, legislating as a lawmaker when he's a lawbreaker?
Yeah, you think you think that Tex Ledge will remove him?
Well,
expel him?
This
Whatever
is
the
the
word
George
can be?
Santos moment for Texas. And this should really be a bipartisan, like you saw in Congress, where Democrats and Republicans ousted somebody who was very dishonest.
Well, you saw it with Slayton.
Yeah, you saw it with Slayton.
They did it for something, also incredibly serious, with no delay. They got that, it took like a month to get him out?
Yeah.
Right?
So my question is, who's the first lawmaker with integrity in Texas that's going to call for this?
Do you think somebody's going to call for it?
Well, I don't know. Are they afraid of him? Are they afraid of the PAC? Are they afraid of Abbott? Are they afraid of Phelan? Are they afraid of TLR? Who are they afraid of? I mean, this would be a no-brainer, because I guarantee you when the public knows that you're trying to oust a dirty politician, they're behind you. But it's whether the politician has the courage now to be the first one to go on record to say, we need to out this guy.
It blows my mind that Abbott, I assume he knows by now that all this is going on,
Yeah.
I assume his people would tell him. Is still endorsing this guy.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing.
I think here's what else people aren't talking about. Let's just say this guy wins the March primary. He's going to face a Democrat. And he won by maybe 8 points the last go around.
Right.
The Democrats would be smart as hell to pour on this guy, just exposing. Look, if the Republicans can't take out our own for being a dirty, maybe the Democrats will. Because this guy's got a de-voting record. He's a horrible conservative to begin with, never really a Republican. And his loss in Texas needs to happen in the primary so we ensure this stays a Republican seat going forward.
So, he during his plea, he asked for the fine to be lowered due to financial hardships.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not going to be a police officer anymore.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking outside a little bit about what his next steps are. It seems like the next natural progression for him is going to be a lobbyist, right?
Yeah, maybe.
He's already doing stuff with unions. He's already kind of lobbying that, and he's got experience with Austin and all that.
Yeah.
You think that's where he goes next?
Well, maybe, but our PAC's going to follow him, and every dirty politician. We're going to demand
Make more money. Lobbyists kill it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't. He would be probably the perfect person to go down to try to be a lobbyist. Shame on anybody that would hire him, knowing his background.
What about you? What's next?
Well, I love raising my kids. There was a lot. Folks don't understand necessarily how much time a campaign takes away from you and your family.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. We were out there every day knocking on doors, putting up signs, re-putting up signs after they went missing. And it's an exhausting process. So I've had a lot of make-up time I got 4 young kids, 3 teenagers in the house, and we've been enjoying traveling, spending family time together. This political action committee to me is really important.
Yeah.
My dissertation was on Mexican drug cartels and their organizational resiliency. My book is on that. I worry because if you look at the characteristics that made Mexico a corrupt nation, it was corrupt judges, corrupt cops, and all about the money. This race of what we saw happen is almost mirrored of how corruption happens in Mexico. So we've got to acknowledge the fact that we've got to address this. Nobody else is in Texas because they're afraid, I guess, but we are. And we're going to start off small, but we need people to help join us at the Texas Integrity PAC and know that we're going to fight the good fight. And somebody has to. We hope many will join us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me. I know we're chilling in the Shake Shack.
Yeah, love it.
The sign's kind of appropriate, right? Stand for something good.
It is. And look, thanks for your reporting and what you're doing. It's not easy. I was born and raised by a single mom who was an investigative reporter back when it was just typewriters. And she uncovered a guy named Mike Rizzo where we lived in the high desert in California.
Yeah.
And he was later charged and convicted of political corruption, basically. So I watched my mom.
You got your win.
But he, denied it and called my mom a liar. And she almost got fired by the paper for investigating him.
Wow.
And she was vindicated. So I'll say I got some good genes in me. It's about the good fight. It's not about anything else other than doing what we know is right, knowing that we might be outnumbered, outgunned. And that's okay, because not everybody has to be in the fight with us. Not everybody is made for that. They can do different roles or different pieces. What we do ask, though, is that when they go to the voter box, that they are truly informed on the voters. And we don't have that right now. People right now are voting based on the mail. And we know that. We see that happen, and we've got to be able to counter that with integrity.
Yeah.
It won't be
awesome.
easy.
Well, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks. You going to share that shake with me?
No, I don't think so.